in terms of from an intelligence perspective, we know that ISIS has claimed responsibility. We heard what Secretary Kerry and Francois Hollande had to say earlier today. Anything you can share with us from a U.S. intelligence perspective on this attack and potential threats to the homeland?
I will say that when it comes to the intelligence apparatus, the United States is a global leader in terms of the strength of our intelligence community. That is also to say that our European partners and our Middle Eastern partners have been critical in the fight against terrorism. ISIL only represents itself. It doesn't represent Islam. It doesn't represent any religion. It is an organization that is being led by countless manipulators, and many would argue that it doesn't have a traditional centralized command in which they can launch strikes like other terrorist organizations, but we know that they have sympathizers. We fought in America against an ISIL sympathizer down south at a military training facility. And, you know, it's something that it has become a greater challenge for our intelligence agencies to counter, but we're working together with law enforcement officials day and night to eliminate the threat ultimately.
You know, you heard President Obama saying in that interview this week on Good Morning America with George Stephanopoulos that ISIS has been contained. Now, to be fair, he was speaking about on the battlefield in Syria and Iraq, and we have seen that. But when you look at that and now you see what has happened, this really what has evolved into a new stage of ISIS's ability, this coordinated attack, 6 different locations across Paris, arrests in Belgium, arrests in Germany a few weeks ago, potentially tied to this. The coordination, I think, is staggering, and I wonder what you think it tells us about what needs to happen as this war on ISIS, as Francois Hollande deemed it today, an act of war, is carried forward.
Well, certainly our hearts go out to the victims, their families, and the people of France. I think the president is right in terms of having a battlefield context, but in the abstract, we're fighting against an ideology. We're fighting against a mentality that doesn't have a clear objective. All we know is that they're harming people from all stripes and all religions, and they don't represent anything remotely religious. It is a terrorist organization that clearly has troubled people as a part of it. And as we move forward, we would love to see, as we're seeing in France right now, a united front across racial, religious, and cultural lines. We would love to see a global united front against this and other terrorist organizations.
So on that front, Congressman, there is this unreleased video, released, I should say, rather undated video that is urging Muslims who are unable to travel to Syria, for example, to wage war, to carry out attacks here in this country in France. You are the first Muslim to sit on the House Intelligence Committee. I'm interested in, for you personally, when you see something like that, when you hear a perverse message like that, what do you think and what do you say to everyone out there who may be receiving this video?
Well, there are nearly 2 billion Muslims on the planet. While the religion is monotheistic, it is not a monolithic religion. I will say that most Muslims are peace-loving Muslims. They condemn these actions. As someone who sits on the House Intelligence Committee, I'm also a former police officer. I think I'm the only member of Congress who has served in a Homeland Security Intelligence Fusion Center very proudly. I can say that there are scores of Muslims in our country and outside of our country who are working in our law enforcement agencies and intelligence communities, quite frankly, who are helping to thwart attacks and who are working vigorously in making sure that the world is a better and safer place.
You know, Congressman, as one young couple just told me earlier this evening, I was speaking with them, they said, I think we need to get to all know each other a little bit better. It won't solve all problems, but we need to know one another so we don't kill one another. And that certainly resonated with me. Representative André Carson, I appreciate your time this evening, sir. Thank you.
An honor. Thank you.